Hey, Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media covering Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, here bringing you your Carolina Panthers Monday, August 18th, just several days, 3 days before the preseason finale against the Pittsburgh Steelers here in Charlotte, Thursday at 7 p.m. Good evening, everybody. We got a show lined up for you tonight where we're going to go over the Carolina Panther highlights from practice today. We're going to go over some injuries. And we're just going to talk a little bit about the players that were available today. And with that, let me say this. Full disclaimer here. Will not be at practice personally this week. So therefore, the videos that we have all come to love and that have helped us grow, we'll still have them, but they just won't be mine like you're used to seeing them with so many practice clips. But, I got to give you guys what you're used to. So we're going to go ahead and cue up the practice highlights, courtesy of the Carolina Panthers. So we don't have any audio, any music tracks in the background, so I'm just going to talk over this for you. Right now, that is our newly signed quarterback, Bryce Perkins at quarterback, wearing numero 10 and getting in some reps. Coach talked about what he liked in Bryce today, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Also, the guy, Derek Brown, who was like, man, we only got to play just a few snaps this past week, but it is progress, and I trust in these guys, so it is going to be what it is. He was just happy that he was able to play and go through a full week in practice with his guys being out there. So, good stuff, good stuff. Give a few shout-outs as we go through some of these practice highlights. What's up, Nicole? She is a member of the channel, so big shout out always to our members. Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and give a little. There we go. Give a little love to Nicole. If you haven't become a member and are interested in supporting independent media, the link is in the description. But there's some more reps. Bryce Perkins, looks like Rico Dowdle. What's going on, Sopa D? I hope I got that right. Perkins is a great addition. So right now, don't expect Perkins to play much. We'll see how much he might play this Thursday. But it sounds like he's just there for insurance in case Andy doesn't go. It really sounds like Coach is saying it's going to be Bryce and then a whole lot of Jack. Excuse me. And so maybe Perkins comes in for the fourth quarter for a little bit. But there is still a great possibility that Andy Dalton will get some reps this Thursday night as well. So we'll just see how it works out. But yeah, Perkins, man, look at that ball. That's a nice ball. Perkins is in shape because of just having played a full season in the UFL. So there's no doubt that he's in pretty good shape from there. Has some familiarity with some of the plays or the offense of this Panthers team, run game specifically, as well as some relationship with some people that are back there. But here, got you guys a lot of highlights. Jimmy Horn Jr., will he or won't he make the roster? Another Jimmy Horn Jr. route right there. So good stuff there. Again, wanted to make sure that I let you guys know those highlights were provided courtesy of the Carolina Panthers. So thank them for that. But I want to make sure I got you guys those highlights because I know we're used to seeing them and we love to see them. So, man, there is no official injury report that is out during the regular season. During the preseason. So during the preseason, reporters just try to get a lot of information, keep track of on our own, ask the coaches to get that injury update. It's a lengthy one today. So I am going to play Coach Dave Canales talking with the media about those injuries because I just didn't want to miss anything, to be honest with you guys. But the good thing is, this Thursday, last preseason game, and then you got about 2 weeks before the first regular season game in Jacksonville. So guys that are banged up, dealing with nagging things, as you hear about this list, they will actually be in pretty good shape to be able to be ready for the first regular season game in Jacksonville. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and share with you guys Coach Dave Canales talking about the current injuries with this team.
Dave, can we get some injury updates?
Yeah.
JC was practicing. Did he get his stitches out?
He did. Yep.
Claude and Charles, Chandler Zavala participated. Are they good to go for Thursday?
Yes, they should be. Yeah. Now, today wasn't a super high intensity practice, so we'll push them tomorrow. and then we'll have more information tomorrow evening after we kind of get through all that to see where they're at. But if they come out and they check the boxes, then those are guys that'll play.
And then,
Sorry.
boom.
AI
And then
questions right there. So
Yeah.
that's the future, guys. You just, what should I ask Coach?
updates on Bobby Brown wasn't out there, and DJ Johnson. And then what's the latest on Nick Gordon?
Yeah, Bobby's got a sore knee. DJ's got a sore hip. Both guys are being treated, and just weren't going to be able to turn it around and get individual, which was kind of the point of the practice, to get a high-speed individual. So we shut them down in hopes to get them back for practice tomorrow. And then who else was?
What's the latest on?
So Nick, huge improvement. Got to drive across country from, well, not the way across country, but from Houston back here. But significant improvement. He was actually running today. They were monitoring really closely, checking his oxygen levels. Everything is like huge improvements. That guy's 20 years old, so he bounced back pretty quick. He will not play this week, but the hope is to just continue to just progress him daily and get him more and more work.
So you see a very, very long list of injuries for the preseason, but again, these are kind of like nicked up, banged up things. Great news for Nick Gordon. Sucks for him kind of having to take that ride, man. They probably drove him straight through, probably had a staff where they could just keep him comfortable in the back seat, but nevertheless, he is doing much better and will not play this week, but certainly looks like he can continue to recover and be in good shape for this Thursday. For the season opener in Jacksonville. A few other injuries. Teteroy McMillan, he is, what's the exact update I have on him? He's dealing with a sore hamstring, had some imaging done, looking fine, probably will not play this Thursday. Said that, they've been giving T-Mac a lot of reps to try to get him ready, to try to get him used to the press coverage, to get him used to the physicality of things, et cetera, et cetera. But considering now he's dealing with this sore hamstring, then they're going to probably be more cautious about him playing this Thursday night than wanting him to go ahead and get out there. LeBron Ray is recovering from his ankle injury a little bit slower than the team had expected him to be. So right now, they're continuing to treat him, continue to update the plan, but right now he is recovering a little bit slower than they had thought or than they had expected him to be. So unsurprisingly, today's practice, Monday, considering just practicing in the heat, the game this past Saturday, and it's Monday, today's practice was a little bit light. It was just, they wanted to certainly have a practice and go through things, but because of the reps that the guys took, a lot of guys took a lot of reps this past weekend, things were a little bit light today, and then tomorrow is going to be when they go ahead and practice harder, and then really make final decisions about who exactly will be on the field this Thursday for the Carolina Panthers. So starters will not play, obviously, is what Coach has said last week. So we'll see if Andy's going to be able to go. If not, our new guy Bryce Perkins will be up. So let me go ahead and give a few more shout outs before I continue to work through this list and see if there's any questions from you guys. We got another member that signed on, so I got to give my members some love. What's up to you, South Carolina boy? Appreciate you being a member. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shan, what's going on? We need to find Andy's and Jack's replacement. They both ain't it, Chris. Seriously, sorry, but not sorry. So right now is a really good time for the team to try out some other guys. Having a situation come up with Andy where things, he could play this week if it was a regular season, but it's not, so it's not necessarily get him out there. And let's see, they had to make a corresponding move. So, yes, they did. So, to make room for Bryce Perkins, they placed tight end Tyler Marbury on injured reserve. Marbury was signed back in July. So, again, to make room for Bryce Perkins, I can't just say Bryce now because we got two Bryces at quarterback, right? But to make room for Bryce Perkins, they placed Tyler Marbury on injured reserve. So, we'll get a chance to see. Perkins did his thing in the UFL, and he was the MVP there. So he certainly has potential, and we can see if we have indeed found that backup to replace. Now, Andy's not going anywhere this year, obviously, but he could come in there. He being Bryce Perkins could come in there and potentially be our third string guy. We'll see. But they have been pretty high on Jack. Not to say that he should be that guy, but they have been. And yeah, so that's it from Coach and those notes there. As you saw earlier, and I mentioned, Derek Brown had a chance to get back out there for the first time since last year, week 1 in New Orleans, where he played the entire game. You know, he didn't even know that he was hurt, and nobody knew that he was hurt until the next day. And then it was announced later that week, after week 1, that he was going to miss the entire season. And you know, he's a high motor guy, big guy, but a high motor guy, likes to play a lot of reps. And it's been a tough road for him coming back. I know he said it more than once. When he had to watch last season from at home, his wife probably is happy that he was able to get walking and get out of there, because tired of hearing him cuss and fuss and yell at the television. But today he talked about finally being out there on the field, being able to get some of those reps back.
Yeah, very hard. You know, especially coming back into it, you know, kind of just having to, you know, have a certain percentage going into the days. I mean, it's been really hard. You know, I always want to just push myself to, you know, where practice is so hard that, you know, I'm about to pass out. So, you know, that's one of those things where, you know, I think I've learned to just, you know, right now in this moment, I mean, they haven't steered me straight. So, I mean, I'm going to keep following the plan, and, you know, we're going to go from there. Definitely pushing myself right now to get back in shape and be able to get ready to go. And, you know, it's just been, I don't know, man. I just think it's crazy, you know, to go from being 9-10 weeks now non-weight bearing, and then trying to walk again, and then getting to the point you can run, and then starting to build your stamina up. I mean, it was tough.
So there was Derek Brown talking about the tough road of getting back to being on the field, but he has been pestering and begging and asking the team for the reps. So he got him, you know, only got 3, but he got him this past Saturday. But he says he's going to continue to trust, right? So that's something that you got to respect. Like, this guy's going to try to press the limit, but if the coaches say and trainers say this is what it is, then that is what it is. He'll continue to do what they say and trust in their process. So that is the report from Derek Brown. And now I'm going to see if there's a few questions that are out there. Brandon says, so many Jimmy Horn practice highlights and none in the game. Yeah, there was a lot of things going on that made it difficult for not only Jimmy Horn, but you look at Hunter Renfrow and Tedero. Like, you look at the whole receiving staff, man. Like, it just wasn't many highlights for anybody in that Houston game. Bryce didn't have any completions. And, you know, there were times where Andy, he only had one series and kind of got hit on the one series that he had there. And then Jack comes in and plays the rest of the game. So Jimmy Horn, yes, not many highlights, but Carolina Panthers wide receivers as a whole, yeah, you know, it was a team-wide issue this past weekend. What's going on, D-Money 29851? David Roger, can't wait to see them live and in person week 1. Are you going to be down in Jacksonville? Is that what that means? Or you're just talking about on television? So, you know, we'll be traveling to all the games. So I will be down in Jacksonville week 1 covering team. So look forward to that coverage, and look forward to, as always, bigger and better things from Charlotte Vibe, and continue to be you all source for information. Speaking of, let me address this. By this point, each preseason training camp, you would have seen me having interviews with all of our draft picks. But due to some logistical things and resources wise, I have not started those interviews with the rookies yet. But I want to tell you right now, I've been talking with the team. We're still going to line those up. We're still going to have them. So it'll just be a little bit later this year. So rest assured, you will get all of your 2025 draft pick 101 interviews with myself. And if you all have any questions for those, just leave them in the comments. And by the way, if you're still watching, or if you're watching the rebroadcast and you enjoy the content, please help us continue to grow. Our goal is 20,000 subscribers. We just crossed over 13,000. So subscribe if you enjoy the content. The bigger that we grow, the more that we can do. And if you're able to financially support through a super chat, through a comment, thanks, or whatever you're able to do, please do it. And thank you tremendously for helping support us. Being independent media allows us to do a lot of the personal stuff, like these live shows that you see here. And it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. Let's see. There's a few other questions we want to get out here. Just want to see Jimmy do what he can do with the starters. Yeah, and I'm gonna do a video shortly about my projections and who makes the team, who does not, and we'll go from there. So, David Rogers says, I have second row seats by the field on the visitor side. So, in Jacksonville, my pregame show will be on the visitor side, by the tunnel. So, I don't know how to say it, but if this is, it's going to be to your right. So if you're watching the game and you're going to be in Jacksonville, my pregame show will be on the field to the right by the tunnel on the right-hand side. I remember that. Last time we were in Jacksonville, David Tepper made a little guest appearance for like 5 seconds on the show, but I'll take what I can get. I'll take what I can get for sure. So, hey, thank you all so much for watching. We'll continue to bring you updates each and every day about this Carolina Panthers team. Again, I will not personally be on the field tomorrow, but I will grab the highlights from the team. So make sure to continue to feed those to you all. And I report on the latest news of injuries and news that is coming out of Carolina's camp. So, hey, Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe, thank you all so much for watching.